You really should have waited. You took this fight too early.
Yo, too, we're back again with some more boxing news in the boxing world. We got some breaking news. Gary Jonas, Lamont Roach's promoter, says this rematch is a done deal. It's over with. It is going down second time around.
How soon is it going to be before you're done? Because on several occasions, it's almost like you're alluding to, you only have but so many fights left. You're looking to walk away from the game. How close are you to that, being undefeated and unblemished with some big fights out there for you to get?
Stephen A. Smith has strongly advised Gervonta "Tank" Davis to think twice before taking on Lamont Roach in a rematch. He's made it clear he doesn't believe it's the right move for Davis right now.
That should have been it. That should have been a knockdown. Having said that, let me stand up. Shannon, Ocho, I got to apologize on national television to that brother Lamont Roach. I didn't give him much of a chance in this fight because I thought he was the smaller guy moving up. I didn't expect him to be in the ring bigger. And from opening bell, he walked right to Tank Davis. I was stunned. And the brother can fight. I'm very impressed with Lamont Roach. He put on a great performance, and he wants his love on national television right now. We need to give it to him. This brother is special for the sport of boxing. He can fight, and he can take a punch.
Stephen A. Smith recently issued an apology to Lamont Roach after initially doubting his chances against Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Smith had thought Roach was simply too small to pose a real threat, but that changed after he saw the fight. Roach brought non-stop pressure and gave Davis a tough challenge from start to finish. When Davis even took a knee in the 9th round, blaming hair grease in his eyes, Smith admitted he had misjudged Roach. Now, he's giving Roach full credit for his grit and skill, and says he's genuinely excited to see a possible rematch later.
What I didn't know is that once Lamont Roach stepped into the ring, he would be the bigger fighter. What I didn't know is that once he was in the ring and he looked like the bigger fighter, he fought like the bigger fighter, because, ladies and gentlemen, from opening bell, he walked right to Gervonta Davis. Walked right to him and stayed in his face all night long. If he backed up at all, ladies and gentlemen, it was 5% of the time. The other 95% of the time, he walked right to Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis caught him with some good shots. He took it and then gave it back. Body punches, counter punching, left hook, straight right. This brother Lamont Roach can fight. And he's beautiful defensively as well. And seemed completely unfazed and undeterred by Tank Davis, a knockout artist.
3. On March 1st, 2025, Gervonta "Tank" Davis defended his WBA lightweight title against Lamont Roach at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Davis came in as the heavy favorite, known for his unbeaten record and knockout power. But Roach, seen as the underdog, surprised everyone. He didn't back down and pushed Davis from start to finish, delivering a much stronger performance than most expected.
For me, Tank Davis fighting a minus 1600 as your main event odds is crazy to me, dude. That's crazy. That underdog lived up to the hype. He ended up, overperforming. Lamont Roach, credit to him, all this other stuff. And it took some politics to keep Davis as champion. You ever see guys getting the referee their own fight? Dude, anybody else takes that knee, you're getting counted, bro. The referee, actually, his instinct, if you watch that, the referee's instinct was to count. If you notice, Steve Willis started counting, and then he looked at the timekeeper outside the ring, wasn't counting, and he stopped counting. So you get to call your own timeout. Earlier in the fight, if you saw that shoulder barge that Tank did to Roach in the clinch, he didn't get a warning, but Roach's reaction got the warning. This is the politics we're dealing with. You keep doing this, you're looking at short-term money and long-term destruction of a sport.
Most controversial moment of the fight came in the 9th round when Davis unexpectedly took a knee, claiming he couldn't see due to grease from his hair getting in his eyes. Referee Steve Willis chose not to rule it a knockdown, a call that's drawn a lot of backlash. When the final bell rang, the judges were split. One scored it 115 to 113 for Davis, while the other two had it even at 114 to 114. The result was a majority draw, meaning Davis kept his title, but it also kicked off heated discussions about whether the decision was truly fair.
Guy from a division lower moves up and gives Tank Davis his toughest fight. I thought beating him on the inside, making him miss, putting offense behind defense after making him miss, being more active. Obviously, Tank's going to have the edge in power. Tank is going to have the edge in power strikes. I think ultimately the stats spoke to that. I don't think that this was a disaster I think it'd be strong to call it a disaster. The fight was not great up front. The fight was not great in the middle, but it was very good. Not amazing, but definitely very good down the stretch.
Lamont Roach Jr. is calling for a rematch with Gervonta "Tank" Davis after their controversial majority draw on March 1st at Brooklyn's Barclays Center. The fight ended with one judge scoring it 115 to 113 for Davis, while the other two had it even at 114 to 114. A major flashpoint came in the 9th round when Davis went down to a knee, claiming his vision was blurred due to eye irritation. Referee Steve Willis chose not to call it a knockdown, a decision that's been heavily questioned. Roach believes the fight left too many questions unanswered and is pushing hard for a second showdown.
I just so happen to be a boxing fan that the fact that I do watch him fight, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really like boxing.
Are you open to immediate rematch?
In my contract, immediate rematch was signed. I signed
Right.
for the immediate rematch when I signed for the first fight.
Right.
Just in case he lost or just in case it was a draw.
So when you got a rematch clause, how long we take?
It's up to the A side and when they want to fight. So I'm thinking it's going to be soon. I'm hoping it's going to be soon. Let's say that.
What is soon to you? When you say soon to me, I'm thinking a month.
I'm thinking July.
I'm thinking July for sure.
After the fight, Lamont Roach Jr.'s team filed an appeal, hoping to overturn the result, but the New York State Athletic Commission stood by the original decision, keeping the bout a draw. The aftermath had bigger consequences too. Gervonta Davis was dropped from the Ring magazine's pound-for-pound rankings, with David Benavidez stepping in to take.
It ain't no timeouts in boxing. Why are you taking? You know that. You should know that. So that's the thing where I'm like confused because that's supposed to be a knockdown. That's a 10-8 round. If that's a 10-8 round, I win the fight. So you know what I'm saying? Like that draw turned into a 115, 114 my way.
Feeling confident he had done enough to win, Lamont Roach Jr. wasted no time calling for a rematch. "I hope to be a multi-division world champion," he said. "This is the kind of fight that can cement the legacy I'm working to build."
Gervonta Davis gets a controversial draw against Lamont Roach. 2025 NYC. Both men start the fight wrapped in caution tape while downloading using their powerful Intel Core processors. Tank then begins playing a game of Tom and Jerry as he scurries around the ring, baiting Roach to chase him. Lamont soon starts landing sharp counters as he times Tank, who's dropping low. But Gervonta's cannon straight left soon finds its way home like it's using Google Maps. However, Roach also continues touching Tank with counters during their exchanges. But the Baltimore native's straight left keeps repeatedly connecting like AT&T, walloping Lamont as he angles around him with the geometric brilliance of Pythagoras. By round 6, though, Davis has taken control by investing in the breadbasket like he's a Stella Doro stockholder, while also cracking Roach's Liberty Bell like they're in Philly. But at this point, Lamont's titanium-dipped chin is rearing its head.
Lamont Roach Jr. added more fuel to the fire by posting a cryptic but confident tweet that caught the attention of boxing fans. Word round the block, your all-favorite fight Finey 30-13-01 2XX2 division champ. While the message was a bit unclear, fans quickly picked up on the tone. Roach seemed to be hinting that he expected a favorable outcome from his appeal and strongly implying that Gervonta Davis's undefeated record might not last much longer. The post only intensified the buzz around a potential rematch.
Performance for sure. I'm definitely happy with my performance. I'm just a little frustrated with the scorecards. I thought I should have won. And I thought I should have won a competitive fight. I think I did what I needed to do necessary to bank the rounds, and even without the knee, that should have been a knockdown. So I don't think there's any excuse for me not to win tonight, but that's just how the cookie crumbled.
There's a few things I want to dissect about the fight. Let's just start off with the beginning. It seemed like a little bit of a cagey opening on both behalves, both of you just trying to figure each other out. What was your initial thoughts of those first 3, 4, 5 rounds whilst you were both getting to grips with each other?
Just getting the information, seeing how he reacted to certain stuff. I'm pretty sure he was trying to do the same thing. And he's an excellent fighter. He's undefeated for a reason. With a 97% knockout, I mean, it ain't that no more. But you know what I'm saying. But with a 90% knockout ratio and everything like that, it take a little thinking in there. It's a thinking man's game, especially when it's on that type of level.
Critics argue that Gervonta Davis intentionally took a knee in the 9th round to break Lamont Roach Jr.'s momentum and shift the pace of the fight. Rather than risk getting overwhelmed by Roach's aggressive pressure, they believe Davis used the moment to buy himself some recovery time. While he cited eye irritation as the reason, many fans and boxing analysts see it as a calculated, veteran move meant to disrupt Roach's rhythm and regain control of the match.
And to go ahead and keep it real with y'all, I think that knee that Tank took was because Lamont Roach was in a rhythm and Gervonta Davis tried to throw this man off a rhythm. Do I believe the Murray's sport waves, the soul glow was in his eye? Absolutely not. I believe that man Tank got nerve eye and said, hold on, this man Lamont Roach is cooking. I need to take me a quick timeout and a quick break. It's nasty. It's horrible. It's disgusting. It's bad enough how hard and difficult it is to beat this man. Most fighters is weight drained. Most fighters has clauses on them. So when somebody who's coming up is able to compete with Gervonta Tank Davis, you handicap the man with trash rulings.
Gervonta Davis later explained that the issue in the 9th round was caused by a hair treatment he had gotten 2 days before the fight. According to Davis, the grease from the treatment mixed with his sweat during the match, leading to a burning sensation in his eyes. In his post-fight interview, he addressed the crowd's boos with visible frustration, stressing that he wasn't trying to manipulate the fight or gain an unfair advantage. He insisted his actions were simply a reaction to the unexpected discomfort.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning, and like you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than But I didn't really know that you can get disqualified for all that, or when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know. It's cool.
His explanation has sparked mixed reactions from both fans and analysts. While some believe his account, others remain skeptical. Many argue that, regardless of the reason, the moment he took a knee should have been ruled a knockdown. The debate continues, with questions still swirling about whether the referee's decision was the right call.
What was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
Nobody like a draw, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that, but it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have did more. I was lost in I lost track in the rounds. That's why we need what is it called? Yeah, man. I didn't know what round it was. Facts.
Tank, Eric Blum from DailyMail.com. First off, your coach just said, can you confirm, did you get your hair done 2 days before the fight?
Yeah. I ran water over it today, but I must ain't do it enough.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning, and you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than But I didn't really know that you can get disqualified for all that, or when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know. It's cool.
Do you want that rematch next? And if so, how likely it is that we're to see that fight happen again this year?
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure, but hopefully we could get it before. Nah, it probably won't be this year.
Is that the one you want next?
It's definitely the one I want next, but it's not gonna be next.
Well, what is?
You might see it in a minute. You definitely might see it in a minute.
What the hell happened to Gervonta Tank Davis, huh? He got some grease in his hair. It was the lady that she put too much grease in my hair, and that's the reason why I took a knee. I ain't lying to y'all. Why y'all booing me for? Y'all remember the movie Coming to America? Was Gervonta Tank Davis using the Soul Glow? It's just the Soul Glow, feeling all so silky smooth. Just let it shine through, baby. That gotta be one of the most embarrassing moments in boxing history. How the hell you go down saying that the grease, know what happened, that the grease, stop, it's not funny, why y'all booing me? I'm telling you the truth. That woman put a lot of grease in my hair. Yo, damn Tanky, come on now.
Stephen A. Smith, known for his outspoken and unapologetic commentary, has chimed in on the controversy surrounding the Davis vs. Roach showdown. Although no official quotes have been released, his position is clear. He's warning Gervonta Davis to think carefully before agreeing to a rematch. Smith appears to view Roach as a real danger in the ring, and he believes a second fight might be far more challenging than Davis or his camp anticipated.
I gotta stand down and give mad respect to Lamont Roach. Brother fought one hell of a fight. This was a damn close fight. Gervonta taking a knee should have been a knockdown. Either way, Roach has skills, fought his ass off, deserves nothing but respect. He earned the boxing world's attention tonight. He has mine. Thought he'd be too small. I was wrong.
Match with Lamont Roach presents a serious risk to Gervonta Davis's perfect record. Their first fight made it clear, Roach has the skill, toughness, and game plan to push Davis to his limits. Stepping back into the ring with Roach could put Davis's reputation and ranking on the line, especially if he ends up on the losing end. For a fighter with an undefeated legacy, the stakes couldn't be higher.
Give you my picks on 3 fights taking place Saturday night at the Barclays Center in New York City between Gervonta Tank Davis and Lamont Roach, Gary Russell versus Jose Valenzuela, and Sandor Martin versus Alberto Puello. Gervonta Davis uses 80, knocks somebody out inside of 85 punches because he's clearly capable of that. But I just see this as being a kind of fight where he's going to have to run him down. He's going to have to walk him down, rather, and he's going to have to throw some punches before he ultimately catches him. And that's how I view it. So I'm going to go with more on this particular one. Next up.
Despite Lamont Roach Jr.'s repeated calls for a rematch after their controversial majority draw on March 1st, Gervonta Davis has made it clear that a rematch isn't on his immediate agenda. The fight ended with one judge giving Davis a narrow 115-113 edge, while the other two scored it even at 114-114. A key moment came in the 9th round when Davis took a knee following a jab from Roach, sparking debate over whether it should have been ruled a knockdown. Referee Steve Willis chose not to count it, a decision that continues to fuel discussion among fans and analysts alike.
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure, but hopefully we could get it before. Nah, it probably won't be this year.
Is that the one you want next?
It's definitely the one I want next, but it's not gonna be next.
What is?
You might see it in a minute.
Veteran boxing commentator Jim Lampley was skeptical about Lamont Roach Jr.'s chances even before the first fight took place. He praised Gervonta Davis for his sharp boxing IQ, slick southpaw stance, smart footwork, and relentless killer instinct. Lampley also pointed out Davis's explosive punching power, even comparing his knockouts to those of a young Mike Tyson. While he acknowledged Roach as a skilled and capable fighter, Lampley believed Davis's overall arsenal would simply be too much for Roach to handle in the ring.
Draw is always a mixed bag for fans, for people in the sport, etc., etc. I thought it was, in essence, the right decision. The only question about whether the upset draw is justified is whether Steve Willis erred in not deducting a point in a late round when Tank Davis appeared to touch the canvas with his hand. That is going to stay in the woodwork and haunt the fight in the breach a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's a setback in Tank's career and for his reputation. I think most observers expected him to knock Roach out, particularly because Roach was moving up from 130 to 135. Sometimes when a fighter moves up in weight, he gets stronger, and it looked as though maybe Roach did get stronger.
Roberto Diaz, advisor to Lamont Roach Jr., acknowledged that Gervonta Davis is a tough opponent, calling him one of the top fighters in the world. He praised Davis's record and knockout power but made it clear he believes in Roach's ability to compete at that level. Diaz pointed to Roach's deep amateur background and the progress he's made over the years, especially since their last meeting. He emphasized that Roach's experience and growing familiarity with Davis's style could be key factors if a rematch takes place.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, for sure. You're part of Lamont Roach's camp. Well, what's your official role with Lamont Roach?
I'm an advisor for him.
Okay, so you guide him on how to make certain decisions?
Correct.
Okay.
We've been together for many years since his pro debut back in the days at Golden Boy, and after we both parted ways, we hooked up.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty interesting because now that you guys are not with Golden Boy, you're still together. So
absolutely,
you guys must have had a good relationship when you were at Golden Boy.
Always had a good relationship with him and his father, and obviously I'm honored and just honored to be a part of him. And when I got the call to continue working with him, it was a no-brainer for me.
The controversy surrounding the Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach fight has sparked strong reactions from fans, analysts, and prominent figures like Stephen A. Smith. Smith's warning about a potential rematch highlights just how complex and risky that decision could be for Davis. As Davis considers his next move, he'll need to carefully weigh the competitive challenge, financial stakes, and the impact on his legacy. At this stage in his career, smart, strategic decisions will be essential to maintaining his standing in the boxing world.
That's right. And the man flat out put on a show. Get your hand out of my... He proved Two-Tone the Superstar wrong. He proved everybody wrong, and that man went ahead and cooked, and he gets robbed by the New York State Athletic Commission. And these people acknowledge that the knee that Gervonta Davis took was a knockdown.
The majority draw a fair outcome, or did Lamont Roach do enough to earn the win? Should a rematch be mandatory to settle the score once and for all? And what about Stephen A. Smith's warning? Do you think Davis should be cautious about stepping back into the ring with Roach? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear what you think. Backhand index pointing down, fire.